The crystalline palace of Zarathos hummed with an energy that hadn't been felt in decades. Queen Valestra stood at the observation deck, her forearms folded in a manner that betrayed her anxiety. Beyond the transparent walls, 3 moons hung in the violet sky, casting their pale light across the capital city. "Your Majesty, the transport vessel has entered the atmosphere," her advisor announced, his voice careful and measured. Valestra's scales rippled with colors she couldn't quite control, a mixture of anticipation and dread. 20 years. It had been 20 years since she had banished her daughter Cora for the ultimate transgression, falling in love with a human. The memory still stung. The day Cora had stood in this very throne room, her hand clasped with that of Adam, a human explorer from Earth, declaring her intention to leave Zarathos forever. Valestra had been furious. Humans were primitive, short-lived, emotional creatures. They were unsuitable for a princess of the Zarathi bloodline. "You will be nothing," Valestra had told her daughter that day. "You will be forgotten." But now, as she watched the small ship descend toward the landing platform, she wondered who had truly lost something. The airlock hissed open, and Valestra's breath caught in her throat. Cora stepped out first, and the queen barely recognized her. Her daughter had aged, not in the way Zarathi aged, which was slowly over centuries, but there were subtle changes. Laugh lines around her eyes, a confidence in her posture that hadn't been there before. She wore simple clothes, not the royal garments she'd once donned. Behind her came Adam. The human had aged more noticeably, gray streaking through his dark hair, but his eyes held the same warmth Valestra remembered, the warmth she had once thought was weakness. Then came the children. A boy, perhaps 10 Earth years old, with his mother's lavender skin but his father's brown eyes. A girl, slightly younger, with golden brown skin that seemed to be a perfect blend of both species, and her grandmother's distinctive amber eyes. "Hello, Mother," Cora said, her voice steady but not cold. Valestra found herself unable to speak. The boy stepped forward with a confidence that reminded her of Cora at that age. "Grandmother," he said in perfect Zarathi, bowing in the traditional manner. "I am Zane. This is my sister, Lyra. We've wanted to meet you for so long." "We learned all about Zarathos from Mom," Lyra added, her voice carrying that peculiar human enthusiasm. "And about Earth from Dad. We wanted to know both our worlds." Adam placed a hand on his son's shoulder, a gesture so tender it made Valestra's chest tighten. "Your Majesty," he said with a respectful nod. The queen finally found her voice. These are, yes," Cora said softly. "These are your grandchildren." Over the following days, Valestra found her carefully constructed worldview crumbling like ancient stone. She had expected the children to be weak, confused, caught between 2 worlds. Instead, Zane and Lyra were extraordinary. Zane had inherited his mother's telepathic abilities but processed them through a human lens, allowing him to connect with species the Zarathi had never been able to reach. During a diplomatic session, the young boy mediated a century-old dispute between 2 alien factions in under an hour, his unique perspective seeing solutions that pure-blooded Zarathi had missed. Lyra possessed her grandmother's strategic mind combined with her father's creativity. When the palace's defense grid malfunctioned, a problem that had plagued the engineers for weeks, she solved it by applying human programming concepts to Zarathi technology, creating a hybrid solution no one had considered possible. But it was the small moments that truly broke through Valestra's walls. She watched Adam teach Zane to play chess, a human game, while explaining it in terms of Zarathi military strategy. The boy absorbed both, seeing patterns neither culture alone had noticed. She observed Cora and Lyra in the garden, her daughter teaching her child the names of Zarathi flowers in their native language, then explaining their Earth equivalents, creating a bridge between worlds with each word. One evening, Valestra found Adam alone on the observation deck, staring at Earth's distant star. "Do you miss it?" she asked. "You're home?" Adam turned, unsurprised by her presence. "Every day," he admitted. "But home isn't just a place, Your Majesty. It's people. Cora is my home. Zane and Lyra are my home. And somehow, impossibly, Zarathos has become home too. I said terrible things to my daughter," Valestra confessed, the words painful. "I told her she would be nothing. With respect, Your Majesty, you were wrong." Adam's voice held no accusation, just simple truth. She became everything. A bridge between species. A mother, a teacher. She showed two civilizations that their differences could create something stronger than either alone. Valestra's scales shimmered with emotion. And you? Do you regret leaving Earth? Giving up your lifespan to stay with her? She knew Cora had used forbidden Zarathi technology to extend Adam's life. A scandal that would have shaken the kingdom had she remained. Adam smiled. Your Majesty, humans have a saying, home is where the heart is. My heart chose Cora. Everything else was just details. On their final night, Valestra called a formal gathering. The throne room filled with nobles and dignitaries, all curious about the hybrid children who had captivated the palace. Valestra stood before her people, her grandchildren beside her. I once believed, she began, that purity was strength, that mixing with other species would dilute what made us great. She placed one hand on Zane's shoulder, another on Lyra's. I was a fool. The court stirred, shocked by their queen's admission. These children represent not a dilution, but an evolution. They are proof that humanity's greatest strength, their adaptability, their emotional depth, their ability to unite different ideas, combined with Zarathi wisdom, creates something unprecedented. They are not half of each. They are twice everything. Cora's eyes glistened with tears as Valestra turned to her. I exiled you from this palace, my daughter. But you were never exiled from my heart. Will you forgive a stubborn old queen who let pride blind her to truth? Cora embraced her mother, and for the first time in 20 years, Valestra felt complete. As the family's ship prepared to depart the next day, Lyra tugged on her grandmother's robes. Will you visit us on our colony? It's between Earth and Zarathos. Lots of mixed families live there. Valestra knelt down, bringing herself to the child's eye level. I would be honored. Zane added solemnly, we could teach you about human culture. Dad makes really good pancakes. Valestra had no idea what pancakes were, but she smiled. Then I have much to learn. As she watched their ship disappear into the stars, Valestra understood what she had nearly lost, and what had been gained instead. Humanity wasn't a weakness to be avoided. It was a strength to be embraced. And her grandchildren, beautiful and impossible, were the future she never knew she needed. The future was hybrid. The future was human. The future was hope.